So friends, we have seen multiple practice areas of CMI. The last few video we have covered causal analysis and resolution, then configuration management, DAR, decision analysis and resolution, estimation and governance. Today we'll start with implementation infrastructure. I think most of this content you have. So I'll just scan through very quickly. So implementation infrastructure called II, it ensured that processes important to a organizations are persistently and habitually used and improved, and the benefit is sustains the ability to consistently achieve goals and objectives. And it has practice areas up to level 3. It talks about infrastructure, means everything that is needed to implement, perform, and sustain the organizational set of processes. It includes documented processes, resources, people, tools, consumable, facilities, funding to perform the process, training to perform the process. Everything is being covered and ensure that processes are persistent and habitual even during the time of stress or changes. 1.1. Okay, level 1 talks about the processes that address the intent of level 1 practices. So fundamental process discipline need to be put in place, right? All these things are being covered at level 1. Level 2 highlighted are in the yellow color, which says that provide sufficient resources, funding and training for developing the process, and the benefit would be having sufficient resources increases the likelihood of successful process improvement efforts. So we need funding for all these things. Okay, all these things, and provide funding for processes, acquiring tools. All these things are being covered as a part of this. Okay, increase the size now. Yeah, now training, knowledge management, and as an outcome we get the training material and resources. Then we need to develop processes using EITVOX model that is to be followed, and it helps in minimizing the wastage by the stakeholder, and the focus would be on the most valuable activities that are recorded in the process. It reduces the risk that impact the quality, time to market, and customer satisfaction. And then as an output we get the SOPs. We verify the process to be followed, and process verification results are analyzed. Level 3 says that use the organizational process assets to plan, manage and perform the work, leverages the organizational learning and use of best practices leading to reduced rework and cost and increase efficiency and effectiveness. And the organizational process assets are being developed. It is available to all the people across the organization. Using that, we perform the planning and work activities based on the proven practices. It facilitates and transfer of the personnel where needs are most critical, reduce the likelihood of repeating issues and mistakes, apply process asset to provide the most benefit to the project's performance. Organizations typically maintain a set of standard process assets to be used and tailored depending on the type of work performed. Output is templates, processes and procedure, life cycle model, operational definition of metrics, and checklist. 3.2. Evaluate the adherence to the processes, check its effectiveness, and provide insight on the potential cost effective improvements. Okay, and then the here it shows the evaluation has to be done, evaluation on the ease of use, optimal use of resource, improved performance, increased customer satisfaction capability, and all these things. And then when we conduct the assessment and effectiveness, some of the questions are why we are doing it, who are the target audiences, can we be done in simpler way, what is working, what is not working, and as an output we get all these things and database of process improvement proposal. 3.3 talks about the contribution to the organizational asset. So their systematic contribution to the organization learning will happen about the best practices, work product, measures, lesson learned, and process improvement proposal. And this we get as an output which goes in the organizational repository. MPM, managing performance and measurement. Here we talk about how we are managing the performance of the processes, performance of the organization, performance of the system, and how we are measuring it. This is one of the most important practice area of CMMI, where focus remains on the measurement part. So very quickly we will scan through this. Talks about all metrics, objective, performance, processes. On the basis of the metrics we take some actions, and these are the practices from level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and up to level 5. I think this practice area or process area has a maximum number of practices from level 1 to level 5. The term process performance refers to the working level where the solutions are being developed and delivered. Performance can refer to either or both the levels. For example, collect the measurement and ensure that data are available for the usage for performance tracking. Level 1 talks about collection of matrices. Okay, so we collect through observation, direct recording, we map it to our current business performance, profit and loss, and then it includes schedule, budget, estimation, deviation. Quality data is the most important part where it talks of defect, warning, customer complaint, returns, and incident. And we determine if the collected performance data is relevant, critical to the work and the business. It may include results from the measurement and collection, discussion and interpretation of result, uses of results. And as an output, we get business performance, customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction, quality expectations, right? 1.2 talks about identify and address the performance issue. So if any metrics going beyond the target or there is some deviation with respect to target, then those performance issue needs to be addressed. So here the list of performance issue, list of suggestion, and all this thing would be as an output. 2.1 talk about that derive and record the measurement, performance objectives, and all that, and align the measurement and performance activities to increase the likelihood of achieving the business results. And here it is the list of what the activities as a part of this practices we have to do. So we need to set the objective, we need to establish project level repository, we get into the insight of various metrics with respect to the planning which we have done, right? Then the source, what are the sources of information, what are the strategic plan, business plan, and everything. As an output, we identify the current and plan performance improvement, we record and prioritize the business needs and objectives, and then we review and keep updated measurement and performance objective. We review the business need objectives against the measurement and performance objective as needed with the affected stakeholder. So affected stakeholder could be your management, quality team, delivery team, project team, and other enabling function. 2.2 talks about the how the operational definition of metrics, right? So here we talks about the operational definition, how the matrix will be defined. Suppose I say that I am going to track schedule variation. What would be definition of schedule variation? Or I say for my project I will take the schedule delay in number of days. So that has to be defined. Then we have to have a data collection method, storage methods, and everything has to be covered. And metrics are of generally two types. One is base matrix and second is the derived one. And as an output of this practice we get the list of various metrics, number of count of item pages, number of requirement, efforts and cost, quality measure with respect to defect, rework, information security measurement, number of system vulnerability, and all these things, and customer satisfaction survey score. And the example of commonly used derived metrics or measure include earned value, productivity, rework, peer review coverage, test and verification coverage, reliability, maintainability, quality, information security. All these things are, and this section talks about the various framework, which are various approaches framework which are used to select the measure which we are or metrics we are going to use to measure the performance of the project and processes and the organization. So GQM, goal question metrics, one of the most widely used framework, and there are few more. These are the steps followed for the collection of measure. Then the decision criteria, right? We set the target, we have set the threshold, and then for example we say that if there is 20% variation in effort and schedule or something, then we have to replan the project. So like this, for every matrix we have to define the target. If there is deviation from the target, then replanning or some active action has to be taken. So like this, here it talks about once the metrics are being collected, how we are going to present the data. So what presentation techniques we are going to use? It could be in terms of chart or histogram and scattered plot, table, and all these things, and decision about how to handle the analysis in the presence of missing data elements. Then the selection of appropriate analysis tools. During data analysis, consider the interrelationship among specified measure, change over time, and all these things. Operational definition of measure we have to define, right? What is the operational definition? That will include name of the matrix, visual display, indicator, data collection method, who will collect the data, through which tool we are going to collect, how we are going to validate, all these things. And this table shows the relationship in the organizational objective, information need, purpose, what type of information or category of information you want to collect, what are the base measure we will collect, and what would be the derived measure. So in column 1 we have the organizational objective, that we want to shorten the delivery time. Okay, we want to increase the market share, and as per that, what would be the metrics we want to track at various levels. Or another objective could be to reduce defect in the solution delivered to the customer by 10%. For that, what you want to measure? You want to measure number of defects inserted and detected during the development, right? And as a matrix we will have defect containment, defect density measure, rework cost, like that. So here we have the objective, and what metrics, how you want to track it will is being defined in this table. 2.3 talks about the specified measurement, how we are going to obtain those metrics and how we are going to present it. That is being covered as a part of this practice area. So details are there, you can just check it as per your need. You read through the video and you will get the more information. 2.4 I am rushing. I am just increasing the speed because this particular practice area is very, very lengthy. It will increase the video's duration also. That's why I am rushing now. 2.4 provide the insight into the performance and action needed to meet the objectives, and as an output we get the reports, interpreted result, conclusion, analysis result, if there is any significant deviation, what action we have to take or we are going to take as an organization or as a team, and further refinement of the measurement and analysis technique also has to be done. Now the performance data analysis may include your alignment to objective, results and conclusion and all these things, and further recommended action and all these things will be covered. 2.5 talks about where we are going to store all the metrics in central repository, in the database, how we are going to store, what analysis we are going to do, what analysis techniques we are going to use. So it talks about the stored information, which format, which database, central repository, all these things will be defined. And the data store will include the set of data, analysis reports, presentation, and all these things. 2.6 talks about the actions to be taken or action which team is going to take if the particular targets and objectives are not met. So that action can be at the business level, project level, at the process level also. So any deviation, suppose we set a target of defect removal effectiveness of 99%, we could not achieve that, we could achieve only 98%, so there is gap of 1%. So that case, what further process improvement we have to do, we have to perform so that we achieve the objective of defect removal effectiveness of 99%. So all these things are being covered. Now for level 3, 3.1 talks about the organizational measurement, its uses, and it should be traceable to the business objective. So it should map to the business objective. We have set the target for customer satisfaction or the defect free delivery and all these things. So that will be covered as a part of this practice called 3.1, and it will map with the business context, business objective, what are the critical factors to be considered, and we will have the set of metrics mapped to the business objective, measurement objective, performance objective, and all these things. Then 3.2 talks about the follow organizational processes and standards to develop and use the operational definition and measure to keep them updated. So here collection, storage, aggregation of data, business level, your what up to what level you want to collect the data, and then data collection will be done and it will be communicated also across the organization. 3.3 talks about develop, keep updated and follow the data quality process. So whatever data we are collecting, we need to ensure the data integrity, we need to ensure data accuracy, we need to ensure that all the data are error free, information are error free. On that basis only we will be able to take the right decisions. So what quality of data I want to maintain, what are the quality issues are there, and how we are going to improve on that is covered under 3.3. 3.4 talks about the organizational measurement repository, metrics repository, where all the data will get stored at the project level, business level, business unit level, delivery unit level, enabling function level, and all these things, right? So it takes care of your repository design, who will have the access, how the data storage will be done, and all these things. 3.5 talks about analysis of the organizational performance using the metrics and performance data to determine the performance improvement needs. So here we analyze and improve the performance. So here also we collect the data, we analyze it. If there is some performance shortfall, then we need to take some action to ensure that we are moving towards the objective, we are as per the target moving towards that business objective whatever we have set. So here the complete database will be stored, and we have to prepare the report, we have to identify the information need, and we need to communicate the results to the relevant or affected stakeholder and submit the improvement suggestions. So it is all about the data collection, reporting, sharing, communicating. 3.6 talk about the communication across the organization in a structured way. So analysis report and all will be made available to various levels of the organization. 4.1 talks about usage of statistical and other quantitative tools, so that we use the matrix data using some statistical tools and all this thing, using the control chart, regression analysis, sensitivity analysis, simulation, hypothesis test, and all are being conducted on the data which are being collected as a part of the organizational measurement framework. 4.2 talks about which analytics techniques we are going to use, so that we can analyze the data using some statistical tool, statistical quantitative techniques, and all these things. So this will talk about all these things. 4.3 talks about the performance baselining. So we have to set the baseline, to set the target. Okay, is on today my schedule variation percentage is this much, or my defect removal effectiveness baseline is this much. So that baseline is being established for the key metrics, key KPIs which we are going to track, and it will help us to know that whether our processes are stable, our processes are capable not, if we are able to meet the target of that baseline whatever we have set. Okay, now 4.4 talks about the quantitative performance model, prediction model. Suppose I want to predict that what would be the possible schedule variation in this project based on some input value if I am going to give, or what would be the probable delay in the project in terms of number of days. So those performance models are being built. We conduct the what if analysis. What means what will happen if there is delay from my supplier or from my vendor, how it is going to impact the project schedule. So that type of what if analysis is being performed through the prediction modeling using some statistical techniques and tools. 4.5 talks about that how much we are able to achieve, how much accurate which we are with respect to the predicted values and the actual values. So we analyze the variation in the process performance. So this is what we do here. In this particular practice area, we identify the causes of outlier and all these things. Then we consider the spatial causal analysis, prediction, and all these things are being done as a part of this particular practice. As an output, we get the result of analysis, validation, and calibration, prediction of results to be achieved relative to the quality and process performance objectives, recorded risk if we are not able to achieve the target which we have set, and what the list of actions we are going to take to address the deficiency of the process stability and capability of each selected process. This is very important. Selected means I can't have the statistical analysis on all the process. I can't predict, because process I have to have the sufficient data set also. So that selection of processes also is important for the statistical analysis. Last, level 5 practices with respect to MPM. I think here we have 2 or 3 more. Here we use the statistical and other quantitative techniques to ensure that business objectives are aligned with the business strategy and the performance. So how it helps me? It will minimize the waste and rework through a more accurate and understanding of the capability, which increase the need and likelihood of setting and meeting the objective. So here, as a organization, how I am going to achieve my business objective, how I am going to prioritize my objective, all these things will be covered as a part of this particular practice area. 5.2 talks about analysis of performance data using statistical and other quantitative techniques. So here we identify the area where common causal analysis has to be done. We diagnose the problem, we resolve the root cause of the issue, right? So here the potential improvement areas and root cause analysis and further action planning for the further improvement has to be done. As an output, I get the list of potential improvement proposal. 5.3 talks about select and implement the improvement proposal based on the statistical and quantitative analysis of the expected effect of the proposed improvement on meeting the business objective, quality objective, and process performance objective. So here I ensure that whatever objective I have set, I implement as a part of process improvement plan using the prediction model. I run the pilot because some of the improvement proposal I can't go and implement directly. I need to pilot on the small sample on the selected project or select function, and then only I can go for the organizational wide implementation. So this was all about the MPM, which is very important and one of the most important practice area of CMMI, which has, I think, practice areas or practices up to CMI level 5.